Hello, and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 daily global news update in English. My name's Todd Goldfinger. Here are today's top headlines. Thank you for being with us. News story number 1. The Biden administration on Wednesday proposed new guidelines for corporate mergers, took steps to disclose the junk fees charged by landlords, and launched a crackdown on price gouging in the food industry. The announcements will be discussed as part of President Joe Biden's scheduled meeting with the White House Competition Council, a group of officials established under a 2021 executive order. The council has focused on creating more transparency for consumers and finding ways to limit the concentration of industries in ways that the President Biden administration says lead to higher prices and hurt the ability of startups and small businesses to grow. Republican lawmakers and some business group critics counter that the Democratic president's effort will lead to greater regulatory costs that leave the economy worse off. Next news. News story number 2. Widespread riots in France sparked by the police killing of a teenager with North African roots have revealed the depth of discontent roiling poor neighborhoods and given a new platform to the increasingly emboldened far right. The far right's anti-immigration mantra is seeping through a once ironclad political divide between it and mainstream politics. More voices are now embracing a hard line against immigration and blaming immigrants not only for the car burnings and other violence that followed the June 27th killing of 17-year-old Nahel Merzouk, but for France's social problems as well. In quotes, we know the causes, end quotes, of France's unrest. Bruno Retailleau, head of the conservative group that dominates the French Senate, said last week on broadcaster France Info, in quotes, unfortunately for the third generation, there is a sort of regression towards their origins, their ethnic origins, end quotes. Next news. News story number 3. Funeral services have scheduled for the Fargo, North Dakota police officer killed in a shooting that also left 2 other officers injured. The funeral service for Jake Wallen, 23, is set for 10:30 a.m. Saturday at Pequot Lakes High School in Pequot Lakes, Minnesota, according to an obituary. A private service will follow graveside at a cemetery in Nisswa, Minnesota. Fargo police say Mohammad Barakat, a 37-year-old Fargo resident, fatally shot while police and firefighters were responding to a traffic accident Friday on a busy street in South Fargo. Barakat also is accused of shooting and injuring officers Andrew Dotas and Tyler Hawes before Officer Zach Robinson shot and killed Barakat, according to police. A 25-year-old Fargo woman also was shot, but authorities have not said who shot her. Next news. News story number 4. The U.S. and U.S.-led United Nations Command say they are working to resolve the situation involving a U.S. soldier who ran into North Korea at a border village. The incident involving Private Second Class Travis King comes at a time of high tensions on the Korean peninsula. The pace of both North Korean weapons demonstrations and U.S.-South Korean military exercises has intensified lately in a cycle for a tit-for-tat. Other Americans have crossed into North Korea over the years, including a few U.S. soldiers. Some of the Americans were motivated by evangelical zeal or simply attracted by the mystery of a severely clustered police state fueled by anti-U.S. hatred. Next news. News story number 5. For Ron DeSantis, it was supposed to be an important opportunity to help reset his stagnant Republican presidential campaign. But yet again, the moment was overshadowed by Donald Trump. The former president's new legal challenges dominated much of the day as DeSantis spoke at a brief press conference and set for a highly anticipated interview designed to reassure anxious donors and primary voters alike that he's still well positioned to defeat Trump. And again, DeSantis offered mixed messages when asked about Trump, training his most aggressive criticism at federal law enforcement officials instead of his chief Republican rival, who could soon be charged over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Welcome to Welcome to the world of Millennium News 24. We bring news, we analyze news, and we make a bridge between you and the eventful world. 24/7 Millennium News 24 team is at your service. Don't miss today's America, Editorial Today, and Global Democracy with host Tofader Noor. Millennium News 24 is available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Millennium TV 24 News you need to know.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. News story number 6. British spies are already using artificial intelligence to hamper the supply of weapons to Russia, the head of Britain's M16 agency said Wednesday, predicting that Western spies will increasingly have to focus on tracking the malign use of AI by hostile states. In a speech that depicted machine learning as both a huge potential asset and a major threat, Roger Moore said his staff at Britain's Foreign Intelligence Agency, in quotes, are combining their skills with AI and bulk data to identify and disrupt the flow of weapons to Russia for use against Ukraine, end quotes, calling China the, in quotes, single most important strategic focus, end quote, for his agency, Moore said. In quotes, we will increasingly be asked with obtaining intelligence on how hostile states are using AI in damaging reckless, and unethical ways. End quote. Next news. News story number 7. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin's administration said Tuesday that it has finalized new policies on the treatment of transgender students. Guidance that will direct school districts to roll back some current accommodations and increase parental notification requirements about certain discussions involving gender identity. Youngkin said the guidelines, which have been sharply criticized by LGBTQ plus advocacy groups since they were first unveiled last year, will empower parents while prohibiting discrimination and creating a safe learning environment. In quotes, this is about what's doing what's best for the child, end quotes. Youngkin said in an interview with the Associated Press. In quotes, oh, and oh, by the way, you recognizing that we need to ensure the privacy and dignity and respect of all children and all parents in the school system. And that's what I think we have, very carefully constructed here. End quotes. Next news. News story number 8. Northwestern has been added to a long list of American universities to face a scandal in athletics and may eventually join the trend of making large payouts following allegations of sexual abuse. A former Wildcats football player filed the first lawsuit against Pat Fitzgerald and members of the school's leadership Tuesday, seeking damages stemming from a hazing scandal that cost the former football coach his job. Next news. News story number 9. The United Nations Food Agency said Tuesday it will reduce monthly cash aid for 120,000 Syrian refugees living in 2 camps in Jordan because of what it described as an, in quotes, unprecedented funding crisis, end quotes. Jordan is a country of 11 million people and hosts some 1.3 million refugees from Syria. Most of them live in towns and cities across the kingdom, while several tens of thousands have settled in 2 camps, Zatari and Azraq. Starting in August, the monthly cash allowance for camp residents will be reduced from $32 to $21, the World Food Program said. Jordanian officials have warned that the kingdom cannot fill the gap left by international donors. Next news. News story number 10. British spies are already using artificial intelligence to hamper the supply of weapons to Russia, the head of Britain's M16 agency said Wednesday, predicting that Western spies will increasingly have to focus on tracking the malign use of AI by hostile states. In a speech that depicted machine learning as both a huge potential asset and a major threat, Richard Moore said his staff at Britain's Foreign Intelligence Agency are combining their skills with AI and bulk data to identify and disrupt the flow of weapons to Russia for use against Ukraine, end quotes. Calling China the single most important strategic focus for his agency, Moore said. In quotes, we will increasingly be asked with obtaining intelligence on how hostile states are using AI in damaging, reckless, and unethical ways. End quote. Next news. News story number 11. South African president said Tuesday that arresting Russia's President Vladimir Putin, should he allow show up at an economic summit next month in Johannesburg, would amount to a declaration of war by his country. The August summit is bringing together Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, a bloc of developing economies known as BRICS. Officials have said that Putin wants to attend the gathering, but have been trying to persuade him to stay away to avoid the legal and diplomatic fallout over his international arrest warrant. Putin is the subject of a warrant of arrest by the International Criminal Court related to alleged war crimes during Russia's invasion of Ukraine. As a signatory to the Rome Statute that established the ICC, South Africa would be obligated to arrest Putin if he visits the African nation. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Welcome to the world of Millennium News 24. We bring news, we analyze news, and we make a bridge between you and the eventful world. 24/7 Millennium News 24 team is at your service. Don't miss today's America, Editorial Today, and Global Democracy with host Tofader Noor. Millennium News 24 is available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jadu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name's Todd Goldfinger, and here's the continuation of today's top stories. News story number 12. Economic bubbles come in all shapes, sizes, and levels of insanity. But the Beanie Baby craze was easily one of the most absurd. The cuddly $5 toys understuffed for maximum hug ability, stamped with cute names on their tie ink tags, and given limited edition runs, ignited a surreal frenzy in America in the mid-1990s as regular people collected, traded, and sold the toys with the hopes that their value would just keep going up at the dawn of the e-commerce age. It made some people money, and the founder, Ty Warner, a billionaire in 3 years. When it burst, it also left many in the red, but unlike most bubbles, this one ended with piles of understuffed animals in the attic. Next news. News story number 13. The common refrain is that there's nothing Hollywood loves so much as its own history. But that's a history inextricable from its labor movements. As the industry comes to a momentous halt, courtesy of dual strikes by its actors and screenwriters, it's worth looking back at the effects of past protests, walkouts, and other actions. The Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild, the forerunner of today's Writers Guild of America, were each founded in 1933. Though threads of collective action and solidarity run to the very beginnings of the motion picture industry. Next news. News story number 14. Northwestern has been added to a long list of American universities to face a scandal in athletics and may eventually join the trend of making large payouts following allegations of sexual abuse. A former Wildcats football player filed the first lawsuit against Pat Fitzgerald and members of the school's leadership on Tuesday, seeking damages stemming from a hazing scandal that cost the former football coach his job. More lawsuits filed by multiple law firms are expected to follow from former football and baseball players as well as from student athletes who played other sports for the private school. Next news. News story number 15. Major League Baseball had a night of offense not seen in 129 years, with 12 teams scoring double-digit runs. 3 games ended 11-10 on the same day for the first time. 12 teams tied May 30th, 1884 for the second most with double-digit runs in one day, trailing only 13 on July 4th, 1894, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. The Chicago Cubs topped the scoring Tuesday night by routing Washington 17-3, and Arizona outlasted Atlanta 16-13. Next news. News story number 16. In a country known more for its love of rugby than women's soccer, New Zealand is aiming to win fans as well as matches. The Football Ferns kick off the on Thursday night with a Group A match against Norway. The Ferns got the nod from the tournament opener just an hour ahead of co-host Australia's match against Ireland in Sydney. In quotes, "I hope there will be a lot of people here for not just our games, but all of our games. It's a world tournament and something we've been so excited to have here now. I've been looking forward to this for 3 years." End quotes. Defender Ali Riley said, in quotes, "So I hope the excitement is here. I hope the excitement is there, and I hope we do well, so that maybe the people who didn't know about it will hear about it and will want to come to see us make history." End quotes. This has been the Daily Global English News Update of Millennium News TV 24/7. My name is Todd Goldfinger. I thank you for watching. Please log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites. That means Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. On TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers now on both network broadcasting, Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Also, all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment, our latest news, views, and editorials, our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24. Thank you, and God bless you wherever you are. Peace.